Tom Farr, President of Religious Freedom Institute, and on behalf of all my colleagues at RFI, please consider yourselves welcome to this celebration of the American Charter. The Charter is a modern restatement of the principles of religious freedom that have for over 2 centuries been at the heart of America's grand experiment in self-government. An experiment which was and remains unprecedented in history. Of all the pillars of our constitutional settlement, foremost among them was recognizing and protecting the right of religious freedom. And that right is enshrined in the Bill of Rights. So here's how the American Charter puts that forth, and I quote: "As human beings, we seek insight into the source of our being and the ultimate order of reality. On the basis of our beliefs about these ultimate matters, we form judgments about the right and good, judgments that guide our lives and give them meaning, purpose, and order. By protecting freedom of religion and conscience, governments ensure that neither they nor any human power subject this essential human quest to undue coercion or manipulation. Freedom of religion and conscience is a foundational right for all human beings without exception." Unquote. The founders were also convinced that religious freedom was necessary to social flourishing, and they were right. Here's how the Charter puts it, and I quote: "The overwhelming evidence testifies that freedom of religion and conscience for all is necessary to a healthy civil society. The majority of religious individuals and communities have empowered robust charitable giving and caring, essential educational institutions and initiatives, and vigorous political criticism and reform. These acts of kindness, charity, and service have unleashed the power of social innovation and entrepreneurship and have enriched our civic life immeasurably." Unquote. But perhaps most important, religious freedom has beckoned Americans of deeply different convictions, profound differences about sacred things, to recognize the God-given dignity of their fellow citizens with whom they disagree, and to live together in peace and harmony. Again, the Charter. Quote: "We believe that an urgent challenge of our time is to build and sustain societies that are worthy of human beings possessing innate and inalienable dignity and freedom, and to resolve the question of how we're to live with our deepest differences, especially when those differences are religious and ideological." Of course, our system of religious freedom has never been perfect. The religious freedom of indigenous Americans and African Americans was not part of the original settlement. Waves of religious immigrants, from Jews to Catholics to Muslims to Sikhs and Hindus, have reached our shores only to encounter nativism and prejudice. Even religions born here, such as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, have had to fight for their very existence. The American Charter emphasizes this reality as well. But the constitutional demand that religious freedom be accorded to everyone in every religious community has over time acted as a solvent for injustice and a rebuke to hatred. It's been the primary means by which we have embraced each other as neighbors rather than seeing each other as adversaries. This is one of the Charter's most important themes. Unfortunately, today, the leaven of religious freedom is in danger of breaking down. Once a council of respect and exhortation to unity, the grand aspiration of religious freedom for everyone is today at risk of being abandoned by many on the extremes of our national discourse. For too many people, anger has overcome respect. Acceptance of those with whom they disagree has given way to disdain. For too many, their fellow citizens are no longer neighbors, but enemies. We're here tonight to reject those views. We're here to reaffirm the American values of respect and acceptance and being good neighbors. We're here tonight to proclaim that in America, everyone of every religion and none has a voice. We're here to acknowledge that our differences, even our differences over sacred things, are natural to every society, but that our founding generation built better than they do in bequeathing to us and our children religious freedom for all. Take a moment, if you haven't already, to enter the hall behind me, which showcases some of the documents and their authors on whose shoulders we stand today. You'll see, for example, a 1297 edition of the Magna Carta. The Great Charter was the earliest declaration of rights in English history. Its first article was a declaration of religious freedom on the part of the English Church. You'll see evocations of the work of a Baptist pastor named Martin Luther King, whose letter from a Birmingham jail is among the most powerful religious arguments in American history. In fighting for civil rights, Reverend King was demanding and exercising religious freedom. And as you emerge into the rotunda upstairs, pause to reflect on the significance of the American Bill of Rights. Gaze upon the first 16 words of the first of those amendments and consider why we're here tonight. So let me end by mentioning the gentleman who's here who conceived this project. Os Guinness was the initial author of the American Charter. He's the man who urged us to work across the aisle to pull together our own movement from left and right and from across the rich spectrum of American religious communities on behalf of religious freedom. Thank you, Oz, for your vision and your commitment. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a few moments, a very few moments, for you to linger if you like, or to proceed upstairs fairly soon to seated rights. We're going to begin the transition to the rotunda upstairs, and we're going to begin our program at 7:30. So if you want to see the Bill of Rights upstairs, they're upstairs, the Magna Carta is back here. Again, a warm welcome to each and everyone who is here tonight, and thank you for being here.